talk to you about. I really want to fix that. I got to let that go. I have a lot to talk to you about, but I want to tell you a couple of things right off the bat. One, I'm a little tired. I went to the beach today. I got a late start. I went with the puppies. They're not really puppies. They had a great time, but the beach always makes me a little tired. So I had a big cup of coffee real quick so I could come on here and do all this fun stuff with you guys. And I'm still waiting for you guys to join. So let's make sure I'm showing up on my page and make sure there's no problems. And let's see what's happening. What's happening? Where am I? There I am. Woohoo! I'll even pin it. I'll even pin it so you guys can find it. Oh, 12 of you already. Okay. All right. I am so ready to talk to all of you about your higher self. I'm, of course, going to take your questions. It's been really incredible reading the comments. Like I said, I was at the beach today, so I kind of got a little bit sidetracked. You know, it was my Saturday. I don't usually work on weekends, but since we're doing this video series, I wanted to work on weekends. So I really want to talk to you about a couple of things that I've been noticing in the comments on the video page about your higher self. And then we're going to go into Q&A, but we're going to do a couple of things, a couple of fun things with your higher self that Spirit is telling me, hey, let's do that. Okay. So let me just say hello to a couple of people. We got Susan. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Hi, CB. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Susan. I said that already. Hi, Leah. Hi, everyone. It's so great to see you. Hi, Elizabeth. So great to see you guys. Hi, Elena. Hi. All right. So let's talk about your higher self. Hi, Marie. So tell me how this, so a lot of you watched the video yesterday. How has it been so far? How has it been being in touch with your higher self? It sounded like it was absolutely incredible by a lot of the comments that I saw on the video page. I haven't gone on Facebook today. Probably won't go on today because after this, I'll be done for the day. But I would love to know, yeah, Denny, actually, woof, woof, woof. They had a blast in the water, those dogs. Oh my goodness, that Micah and Venus, they had so much fun today. And then Venus disappeared for a second and I'm always on them. And shepherds don't usually, go far from their owner, and the poor little thing was way out by the shore, and I'm going, Venus, Venus, and I was looking in the wrong direction. I turned around, and there she was looking for me. She couldn't see me, and Micah saw what was going on and ran over and got her, and it was the cutest thing, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I love her. All right, so let's talk. Viorica says it's been a wonderful experience. Marie said, like you said, it felt like I was making it up. Yes, we're going to talk about this. Donna says hello. So what I'm asking right off the bat is how the experience has been for you since you've connected with your higher self. We are going to do a fun exercise in this Facebook Live with your higher self, because one of the things that I'm recognizing with all of you is that you're in life struggles, right? This is why I teach this. You're in struggles where you want to get out of a certain job you're in, or maybe you're having a difficulty in a relationship, or maybe you're trying to find the love of your life, or you're thinking about moving. There's so many different areas in your life where you need assistance. And even if everything's going well, there's always expansion and growth. And what I really want to trigger inside of you and get clear with all of you is your higher self, which is actually the guide to your guides, can lead you in the proper direction of your dreams. And I'm going to address a few of the things that you guys have said about, is this my ego? And there's a couple of things that I want to address. But first I want to check in, see how everybody's doing. Elena says, I was very surprised. My higher self was in a very old-fashioned long dress and had a lot of fun with me. Beautiful. We're going to do a fun exercise with your higher self today. Susan said her level of confidence let me know she was legit. Love that. Sharon says, I don't know why Facebook's having a problem playing the video. I don't know either. Maybe ask your higher self. She might know. I don't know. That's what we need, a little technical higher self. Sometimes try another browser, Sharon, if you can hear me. If you're on Firefox, go to Safari. If you're on Google Chrome, go to Firefox. Try one of those. Elizabeth says she's been more peaceful and productive today. Denny said, still stretching my imagination into it. I'm so glad you said that, Denny. And you've been on my mind this morning. Denny's in my membership. And we're going to talk about this, Denny. And I've been talking to Denny about something else in membership. Adriana, I connected with her in a different way, even though I've been connecting, but in a very particular way. I love that. Gia. Gia is also a membership. I definitely felt like I was imagining what I want. I think she is. When I am in this place of imagination, I feel that maybe in a place to my higher self, maybe that is my higher self. Yes, definitely, Gia, definitely. Imagination is key, So let me see if we have a few more here, but my computer decided to freeze. So I think that's it. Great. So one of the things is, Melinda, thank you for that. She's saying if the volume may be turned off on your computer, so check your volume. I can't deal with the technical stuff. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to, you're on your own because I've got to hold everything else. Leah says she brought her on and of course I want you to be here, but there's just so much I can do. Leah said, I brought her on a car ride with me and I kept reminding myself to talk to her. Great. Gia, I thought you were in membership. I will never leave. Haha, good, Gia. Good answer, Gia. I'm glad you can, Sharon, I'm glad you can access this by your phone too, sweetie. Good. All right, let's talk because we're going to play a fun game today, okay, with your higher self. Elena said she will argue with me in a playful way. Well, she may be arguing with you in a playful way. I got to drink water. I was at the beach. She may be arguing with you in a playful way for you to get into your power center, to pull something out of you, to make you feel something. So that might just be what she's doing. Yes, Melinda, we're going to be talking. You'll find out about membership soon, but not right now. But thank you for asking. We will be opening the doors again. So you'll hear about it. Keep watching the videos. But thank you for asking, sweetie. Thank you. All right, let me just talk about a couple of things. First thing, okay? And if you're just joining us, come say hello. I love it. I love the energy. Some of you have been complimenting me. You've been this is great. I want to communicate like the way you communicate, Marilyn. You've been so authentic. You're so organic. Thank you for all of that. But the main thing I want to point out to you is that everything you see in me, you have inside yourself. So I am a reflection. If there's something you see in me that you really like, not, even if there's something you don't like, I'm a reflection of what you have already in your abilities. So if you're really turned on by the fact that I can communicate with my guides so well, that's because you have it inside of you too. You would not be attracted to me. You would not be attracted to my teaching. We are mirroring each other here. So I just want to say that to you because whenever you get into a place where you're feeling stuck or you may be doing it wrong or you may be comparing yourself, I want you to instead turn it around and be like, wait a second, I'm comparing myself to so-and-so because I have that inside of me. And I really want to wake this up inside of me. And I'm going to love myself through this process and I'm going to be compassionate about it. But I'm going to recognize that I have it inside of me, even if I'm not having this experience yet. So I wanted to say that first off in the beginning. Somebody else brought up a question that said, I don't know if this is my ego. How do I know if it's my ego? It's everything I want to hear, but is that my ego? Well, here's my understanding of it. When it's what you want to hear, when it's truly in your heart of hearts. Now, again, I've gone through this, it could be a relationship. We'll talk about that in a second. But when it's your dream that you really want to hear, it's your ego that's telling you, oh, that's just your ego. Your ego's the one who's negating the dream and negating everything. Your ego's the one who's saying you're just making this up. So it's not the other way around. You dreaming of being out there and serving people and being a healer or just having a great life, being able to go to the beach with your dogs on a Wednesday. That's you. And then the ego comes in and says you can't do that, which is fear. Now, I've come from a big studies around ego, especially with dream work and a Jungian therapist. I no longer dislike my ego. I no longer fight my ego. The way that I felt I used to feel oh my goodness, I got to get rid of this ego. I got to get it out of here. And it became like a battle with myself. I don't do that. I acknowledge what comes in. I acknowledge what is ego. And then I turn it around to what's going on inside of me. Where am I feeling fearful? Where am I feeling scarcity consciousness? Where am I feeling lack? why is my ego showing up right now? What do I need to get back home to? What do I need to get home to inside myself? So I want you to recognize that the authenticity of your dreams is not your ego. That is your truth. That is who you are. Okay, so I'm going to just check in for a second because there's a couple more things I want to talk about, and then we're going to play a game with your higher self. You're going to make a list. I'm not going to tell you what it's about yet because I want you to stay tuned. So Camille says, my higher self was myself as I imagined myself to be in 5 years. Beautiful. Carmelie, that is absolutely beautiful. That's great. Now, I just did a coaching session with someone, and her higher self was a 6-year-old self. That's great too. One of my higher selves is my 13-year-old self. Most of the times I see myself older, but sometimes I go back to younger, and it's okay. Tanya said, my green hair higher self was playful and kind. We're going to do a playful exercise today. She looked happy to see me, also very kind and protective of me. Thought that was cute. Beautiful. Great, great, great. Okay. Then, thanks, Leah. Leah said, great clarification of ego. That feels truthful. Thanks, Leah. Ivania, I hope I'm saying your names right. Forgive me if I'm not. I just connected right at the time you said your ego is the one telling you, no, my guide, my guides are helping. So your ego is trying to talk you out of it being your guide. So that's great. But don't get caught up in this. What I'd like you to do, Denny, can you have a few different higher selves? Yes, I'm going to answer that question in a second, Denny. Great question. And by the way, Denny and somebody else was like, I think we were having a dream talk, and I love the soul tree. We were going to meet at the soul tree in the dream state. That was great. I can't remember who the other person was, so forgive me. Before I answer the question about a few different higher selves, I wanted to answer another question that I just lost track of. So I'll go to the few different higher selves, and then they'll take me back to where I want to go. You can definitely have a few different higher selves. You can have a higher self 5 years from now. You can have a higher self 2 months from now. You can have a higher self that's tomorrow. You can have a higher self that's 6 years old, that's 13 years old. There are certain times in our life in the past where I'll explain my 13-year-old when somebody brought me to that one. She knew that there was a split off. It was either going to go left to more spirituality or right more to drugs and alcohol. And unfortunately, I chose right? And it's not unfortunate. It took me to where I was supposed to be or whatever. But that 13-year-old knew at that time in my life that she was very gifted. And it's interesting that I just put an article up on my personal Facebook page, and somebody had said to me who knew me when I was young, he said, I remember sitting on your stoop, and I remember you telling me you had these gifts, and I don't remember this. And he said, I'll never forget the emotion that was in your throat and your heart when you talked about it. So I'm going to move out of the sun. So that was interesting. So yes, you can have many different higher selves. I was on such a train of thought that I can't remember. So maybe someone can remind me what that was that I was saying before Denny asked me that question. Darn you, Denny. It was a great question. Caught me off guard. Do our higher selves appear according to what we need at the moment? Great question, Dina. This is how it's been for me. So here's one of the things about my teaching methodology, the way I teach. I don't know if that's the right word. I teach according to my experience, and then I tap into my guides for higher understanding, because what I love about my guides is they very rarely will cap out something. They're very open-minded in the sense of, well, what may be right for me may not be right for so-and-so, the person I'm talking to. So the way that I'm understanding this is, for me, they appear, and they're agreeing, they appear in the sense of emotional, what I need emotionally. So my higher self will usually appear like confident, safe, peaceful, nutritionally balanced, it depends on what I'm working on. Courageous, it could be like, that kind of energy. My 13-year-old is like, that kind. So I feel for me, and what my guides are reiterating to me, it's what you need on an emotional support basis. So that's how I'm going to answer that, Dina. I hope that helped. All right. Let's see if anybody remembered what I was talking about, but no. All right. So let me go through one more thing that I want to talk about before we play the game. Mike is scratching himself. I wanted to go to some of the questions on this page, but somebody had said to me on this page that, and I don't know if they're on my Facebook page, but I want to address this because when I read it, I was like, oh, wow. She said, maybe my higher self doesn't want me to know her yet. Or maybe I couldn't connect to her. That's one thing. When people are struggling with the connection, that's okay. You also asked if you can do the exercise over and over again. You can. You'll get something different. I'm going to give you an exercise tonight that you can do for tomorrow in your morning pages. Let me just write that down so I don't forget. And I know not everybody's writing in the morning and stuff like that, but I'll explain that. But she said to me, and I'm trying to load it right now, but it's not loading. My higher self maybe I'm not ready to connect with my higher self. Maybe my higher self doesn't want to know me. And that really struck me. And that, of course, that's her experience. So I have to get out of, that's where ego can come in for me. Like, what are you talking about? And then I have to get into guidance on it so that I don't get into judgment about it. So for me, what I want to share with all of you, if any of you are having this experience, and if that particular person, it's not loading for some reason, if that particular person is on this, hold on a second. I really want to get this, so forgive me. Sorry, it's Saturday. I don't usually work Saturday, so you're just going to have to bear with my wacky friggin' energy today. Let me see if I can get on this. What I want to say to you is that's a belief you hold. I don't personally believe that your higher self doesn't want to communicate with you. What I believe is happening with that particular person is they may be very stuck in the old story, in the cycle, in what's behind them. And therefore, they're missing the opportunity, thank you, of what's in front of them, what they can create. So what I would say with somebody like that is, let's go back to a time where you were celebrated, where you had a great moment. Maybe it was sixth grade and it was the sixth grade class play and people recognized you for that moment. You felt really good. Then if you're struggling, I would have you go into a memory felt authentically rooted in yourself and organically rooted into spirit and connected. And I would have you talk to the you in that age at that time. And you could pull a picture from that time and you can converse with the you in that time. So what I want to get through to all of you is I don't want to know. I don't mind hearing a no so I could help you to expand, but I'd rather for you to get into the reflexes, the muscle memory, the thought process of saying, wait a second, this isn't working for me, but I'm not going to take no for an answer right now. I really want my life to improve. I want my life to change. Because I have to tell you, my experience of, not saying that woman in particular, but my experience of people like that, they really don't want to change. They really want to stay trapped and stuck in circumstances. So I'm not really saying that about that particular woman, but that's my experience. Okay, I'm going to come back to the Facebook page. I'm just trying to find that particular person, but I can't, so that's okay. So let me go back here. Pam said my computer doesn't like her or him. I cannot hear my higher self or guides. What should I do in order to hear them? Viorica, I would say stop focusing on hearing. Don't worry about it. I would say for you, feel into it. Draw them. Notice what you smell. Notice what you hear in your external world when you're connecting. If all of a sudden you're in meditation and you're hearing the birds singing, connect with that sound. If all of a sudden you're feeling so good, connect with that. If you're smelling something, if you're tasting something, use other senses, because that is a period that you're putting on something. I know you so want to hear them, but Spirit may be asking you to expand another gift first before you hear them. So that's what may be happening there. Adriana says, I do not believe that our higher self is biased to our personality. Our higher self is the overseer of our purpose and the door to connect to our teacher guides, the spirituality. Hierarchy. Here, you know what I'm saying. It's our personality that gets in the way. Yeah, I believe that, Adriana, too. But you know what? That's your clear experience. So what I try to do as a teacher is try to really, you're welcome, is really try to get into the experience of everybody, right? But that's a beautiful explanation. So thank you that. Hi, Cindy. I don't know why you're saying Sue Kovacs, but yes, Sue Kovacs is great. She is definitely a medium that I recommend, and she's going to be doing Facebook Live with me on this page for twice. I'm not going to tell you when yet, but twice. So you're all going to get to meet Sue. I was told that my higher self had a toxic relationship with itself. I didn't and still don't know what to do with that. Allison, I have a hard time with that because your higher self, from my experience, is connected to the divine energy. And this is what worries me, and this is what I want you to stop doing. I'd like to know who told you that. And my experience, forgive me, Allison, but I'm going to be very blunt here, is that's the person projecting on you. So you may have gotten a reading, you may have gotten a healing, you may have gotten something. And if somebody had said to you, your higher self has a toxic relationship with herself, if that was happening for whatever reason, she or he better be giving you what to do with that. To put that out there, this is what annoys me. I'm sorry, Allison, but I have a very big platform about being a detriment to people's lives. It's definitely something for me to show someone if they're not experiencing life to the fullest, if they're keeping themselves trapped. But to say to someone your higher self has a toxic relationship with herself and then leave you at that, if that's what that person did, I have a problem with that. So she's saying it scared her. Allison's saying it scared her. Sweetie, I have a hard time believing that that's the truth. So I'm going to tell you right now that I want you to then pull in something that you believe in, like a saint or a higher ascended master or an angel or a beautiful animal or a beautiful color. And I want you to bring your higher self in the room and really bring that beauty into between the two of you and heal it. Now, that's not to say that when I was doing all the work with my other parts of me, I had like a younger part of me that showed up and she really looked like the girl from The Ring. I have to be honest with you. But she wasn't my higher self. She was a part of me that was wounded. And I had to work with her, and I did work with her, and we healed that relationship. So we're getting a little off track, but that was a really good question. So, okay, I want to do something with all of you, but let me take a few more, and then I want to do something. Let me go here. Let me see. I want to just see who I missed. So Alice said she felt her higher self was very wise, strong, mature, and pure. So that's great. I love that. You're welcome. Christine says, so is our higher self who we would be if we became all we could be in this lifetime? Yes. Your higher self can represent that. Not all, like, there's different stages of your higher self. So say you wanted to leave your job and you had a dream of being an author. So you have a higher self that's living that life. And then you have a higher self that's even past that. So you have different higher selves. But Christine, you may be coming in late. You can have different higher selves even that were a younger age of you that was being authentic to your soul. We all have moments in our life in the past, especially when we were kids, where we were very authentic to who we were. Even if a parent or a teacher tried to knock it out of us, we still had a moment of authenticity, a full connection with divine guidance, right? Whatever you believe in. And that's also a sense of a higher self. So they can be different stages of you. Great question. Let me see. I'm just trying to get to other people that I didn't answer. You're welcome, Vanessa. I'm glad that helped. And then I want to play a game. I already did that one. Adriana, I'm picking you again. Look at you. Denny. Great question, Denny. All right. So one thing I'm trying to do with this video series is to get you to depend on yourself and to stop going for readings and for healings. What, Marilyn? You're a reader? Actually, I don't offer them anymore. I only offer them to people in membership. I do emergency readings. They may come back on my website. I don't know. But my goal for this work is for you to start depending on yourself so that when you get advice like, I've gotten this from psychic readers, and that's why I don't go for readings. I haven't gone for a reading in a very long time. And the reason is, one, I have my guides. I don't need to go for a reading. And number two is I found people projected onto me on their readings. I teach, and you're going to meet Sue Kovacs. She was a student of mine. I teach my students how to read people without their own bias in the way. I won't put up with that nonsense. I just will not put up with it. So that's why mediumship to me is so important. I'm playing with something because you get to channel. Denny, aren't guides, ascended masters just waiting for us to open up? What do you think, Denny? Yeah. Yeah. Can we all feel that, right? They are just waiting for us to live the life that's in our hearts. So Catherine's not on today, so I wanted to say something that Catherine's been very active on this page. It's been wonderful. I don't see her today. Catherine, if you're on, Denny, you're going to find out about membership in soon, in probably like a week or so. So thank you for asking. Yeah, so Debbie says this. I'm going to say something about Catherine, though. I want to say this to all of you, and then we're going to play a game. You're welcome. I love teaching. I truly love teaching. She loves hearing that she can get the answers for herself. She wants to hear more clearly. So this is for everybody. Everybody. If you're not hearing, pay attention to feeling. If you're not feeling, pay attention to seeing. If you're not seeing, pay attention to smelling. If you're not smelling, pay attention to tasting. Doesn't matter if it's in that order. All I want for you is, oh, I'm not hearing. But what am I hearing outside? I just said this before. What am I feeling? What am I tasting? If I was to pretend smell, everybody do this right now. Feel your higher self around you and pretend to smell something. Ooh, what do you smell? Tell me what you smell. I know what I smelled. I smelled, oh my goodness, that was beautiful. I smelled honey. I smelled honey like a bee taking the nectar from a flower. And it was so beautiful at that moment. And smell is not one of my big psychic gifts. What did you smell? Leah smelled lilacs. Pandre, I'll ask you a question. Susan smelled roses. See, you did it. You did it. Linda smelled fresh air. Kathleen smelled fresh mountain air. Denny smelled, I could not even say that, frangipanious. Lavender, Debbie, Marshall, Sal Lavender. You all did it. You all did it. Dina smelled a fragrant rose. Do you see how easy that was? So let me go to, so it was so easy. Pandre, write your question again so I can get it because it's some, oh, there it is, sweetie. See, you all did it. Elizabeth said, crazy, I smelled fresh. I'm craving, I don't know what it says, but because if I go, it goes so fast, guys. So, by the way, I'm on a screen and it's very difficult to sometimes see all the questions. And I try to go back on and see them, but it's hard. Look at how you all smelled. Great. All right. Pandre says, all you want is for us to pay attention and be aware. Yes, Pandre. Pandre's in membership, so she knows how I teach. And Pandre knows from my empathic lesson in membership that it's all about consciousness. So consciousness is the biggest gift that you can give yourself. How you feel, how you're experiencing life, how you're tasting life, how you're experiencing your guides, even if it's frustration. You want to pay attention. So I was listening to, everybody knows I'm a Hicks fan now, right? Because I've started listening to them again and everything they say. And I realize why my guides stopped me from listening to them for like 10 years, probably about 10 years. Because I had to take all the information from my guides. And now I'm listening to Abraham Hicks. And if you don't know who they are, they're phenomenal. At least in my opinion, I like them. But I'm also a fan of Joel Osteen. I'm a fan of a lot of people. I'm not going to say a lot of people. I'm very picky. But Hicks, Abraham talks a lot like my guides talk. And she was talking today when I was listening to her on the way to the beach about how your emotion drives your life. You have to be very clear about how you feel because that allows you to dictate what you want. All right, let's play a game. But I wanted to talk about Catherine. Unfortunately, she's not on, so I'll tell her that at a half hour in, I did this. Elizabeth. Elizabeth said, hi, Elizabeth. No more tarot readings for me. The headache and your advice convinced me. Good. I'm glad. It's not to say like you're going to, actually, I'm not going to say it because you're going to see it in video too. I talk about what my guides do with me to get coaching and advice and guidance. And it's really very, very beautiful. And there are great people out there. You know, I recommend people, and Sue Kovacs is one of them. And they're great people in my membership program. Oh my goodness, they're so good, right? And just be aware. Like, I remember somebody was saying to me, I got this horrible reading. Like, that happened to me. And it was Stacy. I think it was Stacy. She's on this page and very activist on the page, and she took my Live and Thrive class. And she's like, what do I do? And I said, well, Stacy, some of it is showing you that you believe that it's true, even though you feel like it's not. So it's showing a fear inside of you. When you get a reading that doesn't resonate with you, you have the power and the free will to change it. So just know that you always have that, and then allow that to show itself. And then I want to teach you something about blocks. Wow, there's so much I want to teach you guys. You don't get rid of blocks by staring at a block. You get rid of blocks by inviting something magnificent into your life and doing something. So my guide said to me, they are talking to me so much. When I said to them, how do I get rid of this block? They said, you go around it, you live your life. Whatever you needed to learn will show up in that moment, and you'll be able to release it. If you just stare at the block, you're going to stay stuck. The other thing I want to tell you, they told me, this is one of my favorite things they said to me in the very beginning when I was channeling. I said, how do I know this isn't my imagination? And they said, we're giving, so who cares? And I was like, you're right, who cares? So let me repeat that. I said to them, how do I know this isn't my imagination? And they said, we're giving you great advice, who cares? All right, who wants to play a game? Really quick game. I want you all to call in your higher self right now. If you have a pen and paper, great. If you don't have a pen and paper, don't worry about it. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to breathe into that part of you. I didn't answer Stacy's thing, but I will. I want you to close your eyes and breathe into that part of you that is connected to your higher self. It wasn't Stacy. Just close your eyes and breathe into that part of you that is your higher self. Now, I want you to notice how that feels when you instantly connect with your higher self. I want you to give your higher self you and your higher self, the beginnings of this magical relationship. I want you to either give a color, because when you have a relationship with something, it creates a third relationship, right? It creates the combination of the two of you. I want you to give it a color, or I want you to give it a symbol. I want you to give it something really beautiful. And again, you want to trust yourself. You don't want to worry if it's your imagination. So the relationship that you're creating with your higher self becomes an experience. So is it a color? Is it a symbol? Is it a bird? Is it an animal? And let's do it again. What does it smell like? What is this relationship that you're creating? And don't be worried if you get a bad smell, because like right now I'm getting a smell of burnt rubber. But to me, that's great. That means it's accelerating. It's going faster. Okay. Now I want you to let your higher self tell you 5 fun things that she would love to do. Could be jumping rope, playing jacks. 5 fun things to do. Now, I want you to tell me some of those fun things that your higher self told you to do. Some of those fun things that your higher self told you to do. So when I was working with my higher self like 25 years ago, right, I was in a really, you've heard this story, I was really in a difficult position in my life, really difficult. And she really paved the way for me to not feel alone, to have courage to do what I wanted to do. To enter into scenarios and classes that would have otherwise been scary for me. She helped me to believe in myself. She really helped me to have fun, because I wasn't having a lot of fun. I was very depressed, right? And she really helped me do all of that. So you want to really do the simple things. Like, they were simple things for me. It was like sitting in a park Or I lived in Soho at the time, which is a really great place to live, right? I had such an incredible experience living in Soho. And for me, it was just going to get empanadas at the corner store. Or there was this Sullivan Street Bakery, right, in Soho. And I would walk to the bakery and get fresh baked bread and walk down the street and eat fresh baked bread. Or I would run down to Battery Park City and just sit on the pier and journal. I would do all these beautiful things that were just so easy. And I'd rollerblade down Battery Park City. She gave me a life. And that's what you want your higher self to do. So look at these beautiful things. Jump rope, play games, and go to the park. None of this costs money, right? Walk on a beach, swim in an ocean, meditate in moonlight. Bird watching, observing insects, smelling fresh baked bread. Kathy says play golf, right? Alice says enjoy the sunsets, garden, walk, enjoy the outdoors, listen to music. Lorraine says walk by the river, paint, wander the thrift store. Isn't this beautiful, guys? Can you feel it? Joe says walking, beach, horseback riding. Michelle says hopscotch and laughs. Michelle, let's everybody give Michelle a woohoo. And we have Vivian today, who's the moderator. Michelle, thank you so much for being an amazing moderator on the page. Joe says walking, beach, horse riding. I got Michelle already. And let's see, who else? Karen says dance in the kitchen. Love that. Love, love, love. Lisa says nature. Nature. Great. Good job. See how easy it was? Playing with dogs, Lisa says. Go for a walk, Zumba. So I want you all to do one of these things this week, if not today. Let me see this one. Anat says, color mandalas, do puzzles, or walk along the creek. Hi, Marilyn, it's Ziva. Hi, Ziva. I got dancing, singing, and laughing. So here's what you can do, guys, because you know about my souls list. There's so much I want to teach you guys right now, but I'm going to have to go, and I'm realizing my blood sugar is starting to go because I didn't eat that much. But I want to talk to you about a couple of things that I mentioned, and I'm going to take some questions. Janetta, I hope I'm saying it right. My thing to represent us is a lotus, flower, travel, sunset and beach, volley, dancing, singing. So say your symbol was starfish, walk on the beach. Beautiful, beautiful. Great. Celia, just going to dress this. Woo! Love this. I can't live in snow-covered north. Thank you. Spirit knew exactly what they were doing. Just about to say, Miss Psychic, who must have been reading me, say you live in a place that you can't get out in nature, or say you're having health issues right now and you can't do yoga, right? And one of the things you would think the most painful thing may be if you're not feeling well or if you can't get out someplace. Like I have a client that I was reading a couple of weeks ago, and she gets to walk on a preserve and she can't do it right now, and it really is hard for her, right? You want to still bring in the sense experience of it in your own house. So we have the internet. You can pull up beautiful images. You can create a Pinterest board of these things, of these pictures, of these images. You can play classical music and you can look at these images, or you could say you're not feeling well, but you feel like you can't wait to do yoga again. If you envision yourself doing yoga, it's not going to be, you think like, oh, that's going to break my heart, Marilyn, because I can't do it. Actually, what it's doing is changing the energy inside your body so you can have a different experience in the world. So when you live in a snow-covered place in the north and you can't get out to out into nature, you want to bring those pictures in. You want to play nature sounds. You want to think out of the box. You want to imagine it, like Marcel just said. Just imagine it. So thank you so much for saying that, and that's exactly what I wanted to bring up. Now, I want to take some of your questions before I go, but I wanted to address something, and she's not on, which is a shame. Catherine shared something. I have cabin fever in Pennsylvania, but my home is filled with large plants, so that helps. Beautiful. Drawer with colored chalk, Marie says. Great. So Catherine on the page, who's been very active, said she shared something about having a difficulty finding friends. She said that she doesn't find that there's people that support her. And Catherine's been very active and really throwing herself in everything. So I feel good about saying this. Some people, like I said, they don't want to get out of things. They just stay here. And I don't want you to be one of those people. I understand what it's like when you have constant frustration and difficulty in life. It's very hard to get this out of the way. But the way in which to get this out of the way is to start envisioning where you want to go. Doesn't mean don't allow yourself to have your emotions, because it's important to have your emotions. So when Catherine wrote that and I didn't get to respond to it, I thought, oh, I want to talk about this, because she's focusing on what hasn't worked. And again, I feel like I can use her as an example because she's been so dedicated with the work and putting herself into it. And when I saw that show up, I went, this isn't her personality. This isn't like her. So this is for all of you. I share this story because I feel it can relate. You can all relate to it. If you're focused on something that didn't work in the past, you're going to stay there. If you want to move forward and make new friends and have people support you, I want you to start envisioning that. So remember I said I'm going to give you an activity. I want you guys tomorrow morning or tonight to go to your journals, and I want you to write a day in the life a week from now, a month from now. I don't want it a year from now. I don't want it 3 months from now. I want it pretty soon. And I'd like you to put into it something that you really want to experience. Like in Catherine, she'd want to experience people that really support her. Maybe you want to experience a really loving relationship. Maybe you want to experience a new job and you're like, I can't even imagine how that could happen a week from now. Putting pen to paper and writing it in that close of a proximity, it's going to bring up an experience in you that's going to make you realize, like, wow, I'm kind of living far from this. I don't even know what it feels like, Marilyn. I'm having a hard time imagining it, because you're talking about me doing something a week from now. You're talking about me telling me, pick the date. You have to pick the date when you do this. So say I tell you, you want to have great friendships, and you're going to write about a day in the life next Friday, and you have these great friendships. You're going to struggle with that, right? Because that's not your experience. But I want you to do it because I want you to notice the abyss that can possibly happen from what you're feeling today to where you want to go. And I want you to start bridging the gap in between these two experiences. And what will come out of that exercise is you'll start realizing what you can do today to help you to start attracting those types of relationships, attracting those types of people. Because what you're doing is creating the feeling inside of you, the vibration inside of you that brings them closer. Let me know if that makes sense. Because, like I said, my blood sugar's dropping, so I'm gonna have to end soon. And I can go dive really quick, which is not good. So let me know if that makes sense, and let me get some of your questions. I'm gonna take this one. I don't know what it says. Hold on. Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Where is that? My higher self feels super close right now, especially since we did this exercise and membership a couple of months ago. Woo, where'd you go? And she's bringing me to a time in April 2011. Sorry, Samantha, other people are coming up. When everything was going really, really well. Looks, boys, physical health. It felt like everything was effortless. When do you see me getting there? I've been envisioning at night before bed, listening to Hicks. Good, Samantha, thank you. I feel I need a time frame from spirit, and then I can be confident it'll happen. Samantha, when do you want it to happen? When do you want it to happen, sweetie? And then pick that time frame. I don't feel like it's far off, but you're so focused on the struggle of it not happening yet. And you're also focused on, and Samantha, I've known Samantha for a while, so I can put her to the task because she takes it. You're so focused on what you used to feel like back in 2011 that there's still the disconnect in between where you want to be and where you were. So say you want to feel this way June 1st, 2017. I don't want you thinking at all about 2011, because what you're doing then is you're not allowing your body to be even better. You're not allowing your physical appearance to be even better than it was. You're not allowing the love in your life to be even better than it was. What you're doing is comparing it to a past experience so that spirit can't give you something better, can't give you something greater, grander. So I would have you pick June. I know that that's going to disappoint you because that feels too far away, but you're very good, Samantha. You've been very good with me at me pushing you. And I want you to have that date. And then I want you to deal with the higher self in you from that date. And I want you and her to talk every single day about what you can do. I've known Samantha for a really long time, and I want to hear what you think, Samantha, about that, sweetie. Okay? Very good. Tomorrow, she said. See? Can't do that, Samantha. Great. Hold on. Let me see. Samantha, you have to pick something a little bit more future than tomorrow. Okay, sweetie? You just have to. Let me see. I want to go back up. I want to try to get people I haven't gotten yet. Helene, I think you've come up. When I connect with my higher self, I see purple light in my mind's eye. Is that my higher guide? The purple light for me in your mind's eye, so third eye is indigo, right? So it could be some people see it as a blue, some people see it as a purple. I feel like they're opening up your clairvoyancy to see further, possibly to see other guidance or to see further. So what I would have you do is meditate on that. I would also have you color it on a piece of paper and meditate on the piece of paper and just see what you feel. Let it expand it, let it grow for you. Okay. Leah. It does make sense. Thank you. I just have to stay consistent in practicing these skills. Thank you, Leah, for letting me know that. Trying to work through this. Okay. Michelle, working on addictions, bringing balance to life. Great, Michelle. Good question. It's not a question exactly, but I want to address it anyway. So, many times when you're sensitive, I can't speak to addictions because I forgive the quotes in that, honey. I've grew up in a neighborhood where I grew up with a lot of addiction around me, even had my own little drug close addiction. So I get it very well, actually. I've had friends die from addiction, a lot of that in my life. And for me as a sensitive, like I said, I can't speak to AA, NA. I think all of that is phenomenal. I have friends in the program. I've gone to program meetings with them. I love it. But I can speak to it from a sensitive person. Many times when we're sensitives, besides the addictive behavior that may be genetic or what's going on in your body, that may be the disease, the sensitivities cause us to increase the addiction. Cause us to drink, cause us to take drugs, cause us to do things to deaden the emotions, right? So it's no way an excuse, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience. What you want to do, the best that you can, sweetie, is start creating experiences that allow you to feel connected to source, to your heart, to things in a balanced way. Journaling, meditating, going for a run, walking in the park, listening to a meditation, listening to a podcast, all that kind of stuff will help you to bring more balance into your life. I'm sure you're doing a lot of this. And again, I understand addiction. So I just wanted to address that. So great, great, great. Let's see what Marcia says. Hi, Marcia. Have someone bring you a sandwich so you don't have to go. We all watched you eat a bug so we can watch you eat a sandwich. This is so much fun. Thanks. That bug thing was friggin' hilarious. Yes, Michelle, you missed it. Oh, somebody. Okay. My thing to represent us is the lotus. I already got that. Okay, so why does it take so long for some of these to load? Don't understand how this works. Ooh, okay, let me try to go up. Samantha, I don't feel like you can choose April. You can choose April 2017, but you have to choose towards the end, I feel. And, okay, that's not fair. Choose April 2017, Spirit said. Go right ahead. But that's all you're allowed to focus on them. You can't go back. You can't go back. You're not allowed to go back. And I want you to ask your higher self if you can choose April 2017. Good question, sweetie. But they told me I can't tell you not to. So there, I almost got in the way. See, that I want to show you a human moment. Because I know Samantha so well, I almost got in the way. And I didn't. Okay. Anad, I hope your son is good. Thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to get to more questions, but they're not coming up. Kathy. Kiss the dog, go outside. Okay, so I'm looking for questions, so I'm not seeing any. So let me go on the Facebook page and see if I can see them here. And then my battery's dying. So you know what I'm going to do, guys? I see Kamala Diva. While I feel that I pull in my third eye, I imagine a tall female with a long flowing veil in white. Is this two separate things or all connected? Am I in the way when I imagine this even though my third eye pulls? Veil white. No, I feel like your higher self, your guide, the tall flowing white veil, the female is trying to open up your third eye, just like the other woman. I'm sorry, I can't remember names. I'm very bad at names, by the way. Is pulling you into envision, into opening your third eye, your clairvoyancy. So to me, they don't feel separate. They feel together. They're trying to work together. Let me go grab my battery, but I am going to have to end in about 8 minutes. Hold on. My extension. Okay. So, let me see who else came in. Lisa is asking me, you're asking me a reading question. Moving, desiring a new home, new space, new land soon. Lisa, I'm going to actually, even though I'm going to have Sue Kovacs on and we are going to do readings for you, I'm going to say this to you. I'm not going to do a reading because my blood sugar is really low. But what I am going to say to you, Lisa, is I want you to do what I did with Samantha. I want you to pick a time period and I want you to really work on a vision board for this. I like vision books. I do feel that you can have it around June, so that does feel like timing-wise it can happen. But I want you to really engage the energy of just this happening. So before I bought my house, I didn't know I was going to buy a house. I was looking to rent a house. I didn't think I could buy a house. I've shared this story before. And I did a vision book. I like vision books. So I buy like plain paper, spiral books, and I like putting pictures in there. And I just kept collecting pictures of everything that I wanted in a house that I was going to rent. Then I ended up buying my house and I took it down to the studs and everything that I wanted in that book, I didn't even realize this because the book was like a year before, I picked out in my house. So, sweetie, I do feel like you can have this, but I want you to start really cultivating it for yourself. I want you to learn that you have more control over these things than you really think. We're conditioned to think that we don't because a lot of you probably have had a lot of difficulties in your life. And I want you to start realizing that we do. And that's why I feel like I relate to the Hicks so well now because my guides have been teaching me this for a really long time and getting me out of the habit. It's a little bit of like what we're talking with Samantha about, getting me out of the habit. They got me out of the habit of like what happened back then and really helping me to cultivate what's happening now and moving forward. And I got to tell you, since I've been doing this, it's been really magical. It's been really amazing. Okay. I'm glad that you like that, Leah, the vision book. Let's see. What I don't like about this BeLive.net is I feel like I'm struggling seeing people's questions. Lorraine, besides Hicks, would you please suggest other reading material? I get lots of hits when reading. It depends on what you want to work on, Lorraine. So I love Sanaya Roman's book, Personal Power Through Awareness. So let me do this right now. Let me go up here. Let me give you a couple. And I think I may not have it on my website. Sanaya Roman, Personal Power. This is a great book. A lot of her books are amazing. Awareness. Next month on membership, and I know some of you are asking, so make sure you join the wait list in membership if you're interested in joining membership. Deborah Katz, she's going to be my guest speaker next month in April. She's You Are Psychic. It's a great book to open up your clairvoyancy. There's another one. Hopefully these are going in the comments. So it's two. You Are Psychic. Personal Power Through Awareness. And a book I like for easy mediumship is So You Want to Be a Medium. Rose, I can't remember her last name, but you can just look at that. And I put that in the comment sections. And let me put it up here too. I don't know how to hide that thing now. Oh, having a little bit of difficulty today. Not fair. All right, hide comment. Hold on. All right, you're just going to have to bear with me. I'm just having one of those moments today. Oh, there it is. What was the other one I said? So you want to be a medium. There you go. All right. So I am going to get ready to end. I'm going to try to take another question. Michelle says, so you want to be a medium is great. Let me try to get somebody I haven't gotten yet. Ivania. I just corrected my at the right time. You said your ego and the one telling me no, guys. All right. I think I got that. Let me try to get to the end. The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. Love it. Great book, Marcia. Totally great. Thanks, Leah. I love the vote of confidence because I'm like, eh. I have a block that is very difficult for me, Kathleen. When I find things that I know are great for keeping me towards on my path, things will almost always stop me. Even like electricity going out when I attend a webinar. How do I go around this? So, Kathleen, this is a great question. Again, I don't know if you're just joining us, sweetie. I talked about blocks, and I don't want you focusing on the block, right? So now you have in your repertoire, this always happens to me. Let me tell you a story. About 11 years ago, I was having so much bad luck that it was insane. My mother, to the point, said to me, I just can't take you even calling me anymore. I cannot take this bad luck. You know, it was too much for her. And she wasn't really saying it. She was just getting so hurt by it. And part of that is that I was really opening up to my mediumship without even knowing it. So things were going a little haywire. I wasn't conscious to my thoughts. So even though I was like in therapy and I was working on myself and I was doing all this stuff, I was wreaking havoc in my life. So everything I was thinking about unconsciously, because I had so much fear, right? It was already showing up. Everything was going bad. Oh my God, no, it's going bad. Excuse me, God. Then it would happen. And you really have to get conscious to that type of behavior because it'll create and wreak more havoc in your life. So so from my experience, I'm very conscious now to my thoughts. I'm very conscious to the fear if fear comes up. And I don't get frightened of the fear. I go, ooh, why is this coming up now? What's going on? What am I afraid of? Where do I need to go? And then I go to my guides and we have a whole conversation about it. And I'm able to stop that habit, that pattern. And I'm able to create more aligned thoughts. So Kathleen, you're talking about, honey, things you really want to do that are great for you. So what I would like you to do is start telling that story. This is amazing. Even if, I can't get on the webinar, the electricity is going again, which by the way happens when you connect with your guides because you're connecting to vibration. Well, then I guess my guides want me to do something better today. They want me to go have a cup of tea. They want me to go sit in a different coffee shop. What? I didn't get that job? Oh, there must be something better out there for me. I'm going to go look at blah, blah, blah now. Here's another story before I even knew I was doing this when I was in touch with my higher self. I just started acting. I left my big job at NBC, huge job, and I had a movie audition. It was one of my first auditions, and I didn't get the movie. And I was really disappointed. But instead of focusing on the disappointment, because I had my higher self to work with, I went out for the first time and I bought Backstage. And there was an open call for Tina in Tony and Tina's wedding. I would have never bought Backstage had I gotten that movie, right? But my higher self was like, we're not going to focus on what's not working. We're going to go do something else now. We're going to take an action-oriented step. I went to the open call, had no experience. I had things from my class in there. There were over 100 people there. I got the job. I got it. I became the lead in an off-Broadway equity play that made me, had union, got me health insurance and everything. So that's what I want to show you. Now, honey, that was many years ago. And then I got off track a bit, right? I was because I didn't get the inner peace. There's a lot about this, but that's what I want you to do. And that'll help you. So you always I'm in such in the habit now of saying, wow, that didn't work. 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, I was every network wanted to sign me for a show and it didn't happen. You would think I'd be disappointed. I was all right, so in the beginning, it was oh, that kind of sucks. And then I was nope, there's something better. And I know exactly why that didn't happen at that point. And it made me build a platform that I completely love. Or I would have been doing a show that I didn't want to do because they were trying to put me in this pigeonhole thing. So you want to look at the opportunity and the benefit. Let me know if that helps you, Kathleen. All right, I want to take one more. It really is hard to get off of this thing because I really love you guys. Marie, I've been looking for work for a year with no luck. Any ideas? Marie, a lot of times when this happens for people is, for me, this is my experience of it. And tell me if this works for you, Marie. A lot of times you're looking for work that you really don't want to do. You're looking for work that that you've been doing, that you have to do, which is okay because everybody has to have a bridge job until they find their heart and soul. I had a bridge job. It was bookkeeping. You're welcome, Kathleen. I'm glad it helped. So I feel like for you, honey, I want you to write a contract tonight with your guides, whether you know them or not. I want you to say, help me to find, this is what I did when I was bookkeeping, right? I was acting at the time. So I needed clients that would pay me what I wanted and that would be really fun and creative. Now, you know, bookkeeping, like I have a bookkeeper, thank goodness, she's great. Because I can't even believe people hired me. I'm good with numbers, but so I would write down the exact client I wanted in that book, in that vision book. I want them to be creative and fun and pay an hour. I was a high-paid bookkeeper. They let me go on auditions. They don't care, blah, blah, blah. Every time I did that, and I knew it was just my bridge job, but every time I did that, and because I believed it, I would get a client like that, always. So I want you to ask yourself, are you going for jobs that you really don't want, but it's the thing that you probably need right now to pay the bills, right? We don't need stress of not paying bills. Want you into abundance type of, I want you to notice abundance around you because this is scarcity consciousness. I'm not getting a job, I'm not paying my bills. What's going on? It begins lack. So I want you to notice what's abundant, the grass, the trees, the butterflies, the food in the supermarket, and start noticing abundance. I want you to start talking about the type of job you want to have, and I want you to really hold to that. I believe in the law of attraction on a deeper level, not in the way that I feel like it's being talked about, on the way that Hicks talks about if you can really hear it. They talk about it on a very deep level, but I don't know that everybody gets it. So do that, sweetie. Let me know if that's true, Marie, because I'm curious. I've been picky because I would like something bilingual. Picky is great, but then start writing out exactly what you want. You holding picky energy causes this friction, causes resistance. Oh, well, I'm going to be picky. Picky, it's not picky. It's I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get what I desire. I'm going to get what I deserve. Those bookkeeping clients, they were amazing clients. They were so good to me. There was only one client that wasn't, and they let me go. And I was like, thank goodness. But most of them were incredible. And what was good for me is I would go in and meet with, I remember I went to one bookkeeping guy. He smelled so bad. Like I was so sick after the interview. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need this job so bad. And I went into my acting class right after, and I was so devastated and so upset. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I want to throw up. It was so bad. And my acting coach, I told her what, I started like crying, and I was telling my acting coach, she goes, oh, I need a bookkeeper. And she hired me. Like I knew in my heart I wasn't going to take that job because the guy smelled so bad. I mean, it's a funny story, right? But it was disgusting. And Spirit gave me something else. I always have in me, I know there's another door opening. So have that in you. All right. All right. I'm going to take one more, and then I'm really going to go. Oh, I love that. The light playing on the wall behind me is beautiful. Okay, great. Yeah, Kathleen, don't look at the negative, but find the positive. But here's the thing, sweetie. So important for me. Thank you, Marie, for letting me know. This isn't about walking around going, everything's great. Oh my God, it's great. Isn't it great? It's great. I can't stand those types of people. I really want to smack them upside the head. I have no patience for people like that. Get out of my face. You have to be in the positive organically and truthful to you. So if I'm having a moment where something's like, eesh, that's a little difficult, I'm going to allow myself to have that moment. But it doesn't last that long with me because I know that that moment is happening to show me something, to teach me something. And then I'm like, okay, having kind of a crappy moment. Really didn't like that experience with so-and-so. What are you trying to show me, Spirit? What are you trying to show me? Oh, you want me to know that I don't want to attract people like that in my life anymore. Great. Then I'm going to attract something better. And that's how I turn it around. She just said amen, so she agreed with me. I can't stand those types of people. Okay, I'm trying to get one more. Let's see what this is. I know I keep going to the same people, but that's what this thing is doing for me. So if I'm like not paying attention to you, I'm so sorry. When things appear to be going wrong on my job, it always leads to something better. Great, Helene, great. Does it help with bad relationships with other people? Yes. I'm assuming you're asking what I'm talking about. So yes, when you focus, so this morning, right, Spirit's got me working with new relationships, bringing in new friendships, new love, all that kind of stuff. They had me working on I'm glad it was helpful, Kathleen, new things, right? And like Catherine, which I'm going to go back and talk to Catherine later, but I'm going to take off the rest of the night. I was like, I want new experiences with friendships, and I'm struggling kind of knowing what that is. So I did a day in the life. I did a day in the life today. I think for a month from now, they had me do it, or they had me do July. So this is March. They had me do a little ways away. And I wrote out exactly what those friendships were like. And it's not to say that I don't have some really great friends around me, but I'm thirsting for more right now. And that was a little bit of a disconnect. I had a little bit of a difficult time writing about those friendships that I want to bring in. But it was a great exercise because it showed me what I want to invite in. It showed me where I was lacking, but it didn't have me focus on the lack. It had me focus on, this is what I want to experience. So I don't focus on the bad relationships. I'm letting go of a lot of people. Spirit has had me let go of a lot of people. And when you let go of a lot of people, there could be a space there where there aren't people there, right? You're kind of spending more time alone. Oh, I have a good story to tell you. Yay. But what I do focus on is what I'm bringing in. So that's what I focus on. It doesn't take me out of the moment, guys. So today, coming back from the beach, right? I like talking on the phone when I'm in the car. And Spirit was like, we don't want you calling so-and-so anymore because it takes you a long time to unwind what that energetic experience is. We can't have it anymore. It's just keeping you stuck. So they made me listen to a podcast. And sometimes you have to pull my teeth to do something good for me, right? And I listened to the podcast and it was amazing. And I turned it off and I was like, thank you. Thank you. Instead of having to unwind something, I got inspired. And it was such an incredible moment filled with light. So I was feeling the need to connect to a physical human being at that moment. And Spirit said, please don't do this. This is not going to be good for you right now. Please, you want to feed your body with this podcast that I've been wanting to listen to. I'm a big fan of Amy Porterfield, especially if you have a business. Big fan of Amy Porterfield. And that helped. Okay. So, Jennifer, you can have my energy. Oh my goodness. Is that an elephant butt? That's like my favorite animal. I love your picture. Oh my goodness. I love that picture. Sweetie, you can have my energy. I started out this podcast, Facebook saying like, if you're attracted to something in me, it's because it's in you. All right. I'm going to take one more and then I really got to go because I'm about to faint. I believe God is my source. Love that. I know I have many guides and angels. I just go straight to God himself and he dwells within me. Angie, I applaud that. I love that. So most of you know I was raised Catholic, right? I made confession at 9 years old. I did it a little bit different. And I'll never forget going as a little kid at 9 years old going, why do I have to tell this priest who's human about my sins? I knew back then that I could go directly to God. So I stopped believing in confession at an early age. And luckily for my mother was very progressive with me. I remember going home telling her I believed in reincarnation, all this stuff. And she applauded that. She didn't force me to do things. She allowed me. My brother told her that we planet hopped. She allowed for all that free thought. And later on, when I was opening up to my mediumship, I went to a retreat with a very big Catholic church and with these kids all around my age. And they were the biggest idiots I ever met in my life. Forgive me, but they were so close-minded. And they had confession there. And I was struggling with my mediumship. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm talking to spirits. What is this? What's going on? And they pushed me. Nobody can push you, but they said, go for confession. So I went to confession. And this priest said to me, he said, of course you're speaking to spirits. So of course you're a medium. He said, all saints spoke to spirits. And that makes perfect sense that that's what you're doing. He sanctioned me at that moment. He really did. And I don't believe in confession, never went again. I left that retreat, wanted nothing to do with those people. The priests were amazing, and I was it. So Angie, I applaud you. I applaud anybody who knows themselves. I love it. I love it. Go for it. I applaud people that don't believe in God. I don't really care what you believe in. Just believe in yourself more than anything else. Okay. Jennifer, you're welcome. I love your elephant's butt. Thank you, everyone. Please, 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 let me do this real quick. I'm going to faint. Eek. I wasn't hungry when I started, and I was like, I could do this. There. Share that URL. I don't care if they don't join my email list. Who cares? Share the URL. It's a great thing. So hopefully I didn't share a private thing. No, I didn't. Share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with anybody you feel good about. And let them watch these videos, because the next one's coming out on... The next video is coming out on, you probably know more than me, Tuesday! Woohoo! Watch it again. Watch video one again. Do that exercise again. Have fun with it. And I am going to be on Facebook Live on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. We will send an event. I think you get an email for it. But Tuesday, video number 2 comes. Watch it. Have fun. Share it. Thank you so much for participating. Have a great, great weekend. Probably I won't be on the page much till Monday. I might be on a little bit tomorrow morning. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for participating.